Now we're going to start a couple lessons on how to use XML data inside of your website. This is one of my favorite topics because now it's so easy to bind XML data directly to your web pages and create repeating contents and conditional contents. It's so fabulous the way this is set up. Before we get too deep into it, let's talk about what HTML is versus XML. So I'll just create a basic HTML page. Okay. I'm in the code view here, so let's just jump out to design view real fast. I'll type out 1, 2, 3. I just type those out and I'll hit bullet. It's called unordered list. Okay. At this point, let's take a look at the code. And I want to hide some of this, so just highlight those. Get rid of those. Okay. So I just want to show you what this looks like. All right, essentially we have a starting tag and a closing tag. Think of these tags as something like a container, where anything within this container will have these settings to them. So think of, instead of UL, which starts the bullets, this ends the bullets, and the system is saying each one of these is a bulleted item. Okay? You could think of this as animals. So you can say animals, open and close, and in the middle you may have dogs, cats, and mice. So you have 3 types of animals. Or you could say this one could be dogs, closing of the dogs, and then you could have boxer, greyhound, Great Dane. Okay? So it's really easy to configure and format your data. Now let me show you an XML file that we actually have in this site here. See, it's called quotes.xml. There it is. And I'm going to highlight everything, close it, and we're going to work with just this first one. So here's a quote. I started it, I ended it. Here's the person's name. Here's a short version. And then here's the long version. Now, believe it or not, you've actually been seeing this file on almost every page we've previewed, because this XML file is what that Flash file is pulling in, believe it or not. So it's able to read this short set of tags and show that in that Flash file, while we're going to show the long format here. All right, so what can we do with XML? How do we get XML on our page? Well, we actually need to create an XML style sheet that we can connect to this page of data. And then this is the page that we're actually going to open. So it's kind of a long way to do this, but I'll walk you through the steps now that you kind of have an idea of what XML is. So let's take a look at our testimonials page. Okay, if I open this page right here, go to design view, it's very bland. We don't have any information here, so I'll just delete that. And what I want to say to this is, okay, on this testimonials page, okay, I want to use that XML file, this file full of quotes, and lay out each one in a kind of a table format, nice and neat. Okay, and by doing that, we're going to automate the process. We will never have to reopen this web page to tweak it. We can just keep adding data to our XML file. Well, if it's XML, it can be created from a database. It could also be an RSS feed. I mean, it's just really limitless to what this can be used for. Okay, so first of all, let's add a little title here. Testimonials. Okay, and I'm going to add a table here. 1 row, 1 column. We don't want any border thickness, and I'm going to give it cell padding of 2, a padding of 5, and a spacing of 2. Okay, so here we go. That's our little guy there. I'm also going to change the background to black, just so it's a little bit easier to see and read. And at this point, I need to convert this to an XSTL file, which is kind of goofy, so kind of hard to say. All we have to do is go to File, Convert, XSTL 1.0. Okay, we do that. It does all the conversions for us. At this point, we need to hit Save. So I'll hit Control S to save this file. Now we have 2 files open. Here's our old one, so we can close it. Sure, we'll save our settings. Here's our new one. Okay. And what I want to do now is bind my XML data to this page. And you're going to do that by going to the Applications palette. So you go to Applications. I'll just close these up so it's easier to see. And there's all kinds of cool things that you can connect to, either components, server behaviors, but we're going to go to Bindings. And we're going to bind an XML source. So we'll just click on that. We'll choose Browse to go find the quotes.xml file. All right, we'll hit OK. Load that in. Now, nothing really happens at this point. We just tell the system where do we want information in our XML file to go. Well, what I would like to have is possibly the long quote, something like that. I'll hit Shift-Enter, which is kind of a page break. I'll add two dashes, and then I'll put their name down. Okay, so how do we get all of that? I'll just highlight all of that and apply a paragraph style. Okay, and then I'll select all of that and I'll choose italics. Okay, so their name will be in italics. Now it's very difficult to read this, and I apologize. So let's take a look at this. What would we get? Well, let's save this and take a look. It gets the first entry, and that's pretty cool. I'm actually going to change the color of the name, but that's pretty neat, the way that just grabbed it and stuck it in here. All right, so let's go ahead and change that name there. Okay, let's go ahead and I'm not going to just randomly pick a color because I lost my little color picker there. So I'll go into my Files, Assets, and then right here is our color picker. So I can actually pick a color that we're using. So let's pick this yellow. There we go. So that's nice and neat. We'll save that. We can refresh and play that back. There we go. That looks really cool. The way that's nice and neat there. Okay. So that's just one file. How do I get the rest of them? Well, I'm going to actually select that table row. Make sure it's the TD or TR is selected down here, table row. And then I'm going to go and choose Insert XSTL Objects, and I'm going to choose a repeating region. Now, in this instance, we need to find out what's repeating. At this point, quotes is what's repeating. So we have a number of quotes. In each quote, we have a name, short, and long description. All right, we'll say OK. And you can see right here it says XSL for each. And then here is our setup here. So let's save this, preview that, and there you go. Here are all of our quotes, nice and neat. We can adjust the padding on this if you want. Really, you can format this to your heart's content. But I just want to show you how you can bind your XML data. Now, if you look up here, this is not a normal file that we're working with. So we're going to have some issues here. Because if I go back to my file palette, I've got one little wacky looking file here. Well, that's because this page isn't what you show to the public. This page is just a style sheet, just picking apart where everything goes. So I'll save this, okay, and close it. And I'm actually going to throw this page away. Okay, so let's just verify everything is still good. Copacetic, yep. All right. Now, where I'm going to connect this to is actually that XML file. So I'm going to go to quotes XML, and if I preview this, this is what I get. Okay, each one of my quotes lined out, just like that. However, if I was to take this and go to Commands, attach an XSLT style sheet, okay, find the one I'm looking for, and I'm looking for this Testimonials XSL. It's really important that that's the one you choose, not the one that's in HTML. Okay, we'll hit OK. OK. Nothing changes, but it added this line of code. And with that said, watch what happens when I preview this. Okay, we'll go ahead and allow that flash file to work. This is great. That's what we see. And look, it didn't create a new page. It didn't compile a new page. It's actually showing me an XML page. which this is in itself really, really cool. All right, so let's adjust our links, and that page will be knocked out. We'll go to our library, our main menu header. Testimonials is currently set to testimonials.html, so now I can set it to my quotes.xml. Hit OK, and when I go to save this, it's going to ask me, do I want to update all the pages? You bet. Update them. Done. Close. Close. And I can now very quickly just put that one file up on the server, and we're good to go. So I'll also want to go ahead and put my quotes and my testimonials page up there for once this is done. There we go. I'll go ahead and upload this. Send those up to the server, and let's check it out now. So now that I've got those updated on the website, if I go to testimonials, you'll see right here in the address bar down there, status bar, that quotes.xml is the one that fires up, and there's our quotes. Here's our randomly picked one. So if I just refresh, you can see how well that works. This is, like I said, just an incredibly amazing way of getting this data directly into your web page. It's I don't think I've ever used anything so fast. All right, in the next lesson, I'm going to teach you how to use the new Flash round trip system.